is Shona. I am 65 years old and I want to share my journey with you, which started many years ago. It started in a Baptist church. I was raised in the Church of Scotland, which is a Protestant church. We would go regularly, but I remember the thing that sticks out in my mind is the Christmas nativity and the party and Satan coming and bringing gifts. I look back on it and think, what did I learn? What do I remember from it? Not a lot. And then I went through difficult teenage years, went to uni, studied, had a bit of a self-sabotage button, got married. Well, I had a very, very large self-sabotage button, but praise Yah, he had his hand on me throughout. I just didn't know it. But then, yeah, I was married and I was 26. And I know it now. I understand what happened now, but I didn't at the time. What happened was Yah poured out his spirit of grace upon me. And that spirit of grace is not unmerited favour, like we've been taught in the church. It is the conviction of Yah upon your heart. And I heard his calling, I heard his voice. And I started this journey that takes me to this point today where I am today. And I was saying to my friend this morning, the journey is, we know we came out of Egypt and we went through the Red Sea. And to me, that was like the birthing canal. And you get to the other side and there you are in a Baptist church and you're all excited for this journey. You're in the promised land as you think, or you're heading to the promised land. But then there's just something not right and you're not sure, you can't put your finger on it, and you just keep going because you hope that, yeah, you're going to find it. And I remember this day, I hadn't been a believer very long, and this Christmas tree appeared in the church, and I went up to the pastor and I said to him, I don't know why, but I know that should not be there. And he said, oh, it's okay because we're decorating it was something to do with some orphanage somewhere. And that made it okay. But I knew in my heart it wasn't right. So then we had our children, but I knew that we weren't supposed to keep Christmas. But my husband did that. Wasn't a believer. He still isn't on this journey. His journey yet hasn't started. But he allowed me to raise our children in the church, and I didn't teach them about Santa. They didn't know about Santa Claus coming down the chimney. I am thankful for that. Anyway, my journey continued, but I remember sitting in a church. No, sorry, I'm going to backpedal a little bit. This was before I had the children. And I so desired to walk with Yah in truth. I wanted to be obedient. But I didn't know how. And again, I understand now why, because we weren't being taught the truth. Anyway, so I was reading my Bible as I did, and it came, one day I was reading, and it sticks out, it absolutely, profoundly sticks out, this memory that I have of reading Ezekiel 3, and I'm going to read it to you from chapter 3, verse 17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning from me. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. Wow. That came with that conviction, that inner conviction, that Spirit of grace was in there, and he revealed that to me. But I was only weeks, literally weeks on this walk. So I went to a senior member in the church and I spoke to them and I said, look, I've read this, and oh, no, you don't need to worry about that. That's not for you. No, that was back then. I can't remember the arguments they gave me, but I was deterred from that. But that's never, ever left me. It's one of the few scriptures that I can remember on this journey. So anyway, going back, I was sitting in the church, and for years now, several years, and we'd had 3 children, and I used to take them diligently, but I knew something wasn't right. So, long story short, I went from the empty, dead Christian church, I went full-blown Torah to the other end. The journey, well, I went from the coming through the Red Sea to lawlessness, all the way through to the Torah, where you have to keep as many of these laws as you can, keep the feasts. And I won't go into the journey, I'll maybe cover that another time, but up until last year I spent a good year, if not more, studying out the calendar. I produced a calendar, had it all published, worked diligently on tying the calendar into alongside the word. I wanted to be obedient. Remember that. I wanted to be obedient. I wanted to get it right. And it was last spring. Yeah, brought me to my knees. And it wasn't anybody, it was just purely by the power of the Spirit. Brought me to my knees and made me realise that I was making an idol out of this calendar. I was making an idol, trying to pave. He actually brought to mind in Edinburgh. I come from a city where the streets are paved with small stones, cobbles they're called, and it was as if I was producing my own cobbled path to heaven, to eternity. I was doing it in my way, and even though I did not want to be deceived, and I prayed about not being deceived, and earnestly desired to walk in obedience, I was walking out that obedience in my way, not his way, And he brought me to my knees and he showed me that. And that started me on the journey out of Torah and into the middle. I'd come from the left, gone to the right, and Yah brought me to the middle, and praise Yah. Praise Yah, by the Spirit of grace, he taught me what that meant. And I had a lot to learn, I had a lot to unlearn. So I'm not going to be able to share all of that. I need to do a part 2. But now I'm on the straight and the narrow way. And I praise Yah for that. And I'll share that with you on part 2. I'm rambling, but I hope this touches someone's heart. Thank you for listening.